conference title. The Mavericks were the 5th seed in the West. They eliminated 3 of the top 4 seeds in the West to reach the finals: the Clippers, Oklahoma City, and Minnesota. Game 1 of the finals is Thursday night in Boston. ESPNU has agreed to televise the Red Tails Classic college football game between Tuskegee University and Johnson C. Smith. The HBCU matchup is Sunday, September 1st in Montgomery, Alabama. The game is a tribute to the legendary Tuskegee Airmen, the first all-black fighter pilots unit that trained at Tuskegee. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hi, Tavis Smiley here. We're getting closer to June 18th, and time is running out for you to register to join us for our historic symposium live on C-SPAN, Tuesday, June 18th, 4 to 7 p.m. at the California Science Center in Exposition Park. Admission is free, but you must register at KBLA1580.com right now if you want to be in the audience when the nation will see for the first time ever a stage full of brilliant black folk talking about the urgency of now. Climate justice, climate equity, climate resilience. It's all going down. Well, it's actually all going up. Tuesday, June 18th, 4 to 7 p.m. live from the California Science Center in Exposition Park. Again, admission is free, but we're filling up fast. So if I were you, I would log on right now to KBLA1580.com to reserve your seat. Caring about the climate, caring about the community. We're KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Mother sucker's guilty. That 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 mother sucker's he's guilty. 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 That mother sucker's guilty. That mother sucker's guilty. That mother sucker's
KBLA Talk 1580. Yes, indeed. As somebody brilliant said in the chat, it's a 34 Felonies Friday. And joining us right now is one of your favorite attorneys. You hear her on the show from time to time. She's stepping in to help us unpack the conviction of a former U.S. president. She's a congressional award-winning civil rights attorney who's been selected to the Super Lawyers list in the National Trial Lawyer Top 100 list for a number of years for representing victims and survivors of excessive force. The editor of the Pasadena Weekly referred to her as a warrior angel. Before becoming a civil rights attorney, she was a decorated police officer in the East Bay area and injured in the line of duty. Attorney Carrie Harper, welcome.
Thanks so much, Dominique. Good morning. Good morning. Song was so motivational. I love it.
Yeah, that's been in heavy rotation. The non-clean version has been in heavy rotation in my head.
I don't know. I didn't know you could drop the F-bomb. I mean, that's a whole.
No, that was the clean version. You didn't hear the S after mother? That was the clean version right there.
Oh, okay. Well, they faked me out. All right.
Yeah, the clean version faked you out. But it was, in fact, the clean version of Madison McFerrin's ode, which she actually wrote for Derek Chauvin, but repurposed for the 45th president, who we have now given the nickname 34.
I love it. I love it. I'm still smiling, Dominique. I'm just giddy. I'm just happy. I'm smiling. I'm celebrating. I might even day drink a little bit.
You have a day party on a Friday. Hey, I'll toast to that. I am gloating and celebrating, even though the Democratic Party uniformly seems to be saying, let's be low key about this and not rub it in. I'm rubbing it in.
Well, I think we can, and I think it's smart that they don't, because it speaks for itself. It speaks 34 times. There was no splitting of the baby. There was no, okay, we'll give them a little this, a little that. 34 times, and you get a car, and I love it.
Well, 34 times and very swiftly. When I heard that there was a verdict back and I didn't know what it was yet, I was worried because it came so fast.
Well, usually if when I'm doing criminal defense, if the verdict comes back fast, I'm very nervous. I'm thinking it's going to be a prosecutorial win. So I guess the reverse is in effect here because it's the president. You thought they'd come back quick. But there were 2 lawyers on the jury. That was big for a paper case. They let 2 lawyers on the jury, Dominique.
Yeah. And that's rare?
Yeah, your lawyers are always getting kicked out. Because, for reasons lawyers get kicked off, and usually police officers, if it's a criminal violation type case.
Lawyers, police officers, and Black Lives Matter activists are not welcome jurors.
Right. Oh, man, yeah, this kind of cleanses the palate a little bit of that, travesty of justice in the Black Lives Matter case in Rupert Birdsong's courtroom. But we're not going to taint our good feeling. We're going to just feel good about this verdict.
But which brings us to the importance of the judge, right?
Right. See, do you see how one good judge does not put his thumb on the scale and the verdict comes out with the will of the jurors? That judge had a lot of opportunities to tilt the scale towards Trump or wrongfully tilt it towards prosecution, but he stayed right down the middle, unlike some recent cases where you have some judges putting their finger on the scale, tipping the scale. Now, one thing I noticed when I went into the case LAPD, the Black Lives Matter versus LAPD last week, is that you had an oversaturation of deputies almost surrounding Dr. Abdullah, like she was the criminal and it was a civil case. In this case, do you think they had deputies surrounding Trump, even though he could be remanded into custody? No, very different judges. You have the example of a good judge and a bad judge. But today we're celebrating the good judge and the good verdict.
Right. I mean, and they're still saying it's a witch hunt, and there's, the conservatives are still crying that this isn't fair and dismantle the DOJ and all that. But it seems like that judge was really careful in, warning Trump, but not giving him jail time, not holding him in contempt, really that one small fine, and letting him go to Barron's graduation and, tolerating those folks on the steps, the Speaker of the House on the courtroom steps making pronouncements. It felt like he was going out of his way to provide the appearance of fairness.
Well, I don't necessarily agree that he was going out of his way. The judges usually will take into consideration the calendars of jurors and even defendants. If there's something as big as your kid's graduating, he's only going to get to graduate from high school one time. They're gonna let him go to that. Also, he wasn't really doing Donald Trump a favor by not remanding him into custody. He was doing his bailiffs a favor. Can you imagine the security problem that you would have if you had someone with Secret Service actually physically in custody behind bars? Then you'd have to have Secret Service agents with him behind bars. What would that do, and how much overtime would that create? So looking behind the scenes, he was doing what he should have done. He was doing what a good judge did. He didn't go bend over backwards. That's why they're going to have a lot of problems finding a reason to appeal this guy, because he was just going middle of the road and being a good judge.
You mentioned to me when we talked off the air, and I'm not sure I 100% understood it, that the attorneys already tried a lot of the reasons. They already attempted a lot of the reasons that could be used on appeal, and they've already been rejected. Explain what you meant by that.
Well, I didn't quite say it like that. I was just saying that appeal. I'll water it down a little bit. Appeals are super hard to win. Appeals, 95% of the appeals are not successful because during the case, the actual case, whatever it is that you had a beef that might have been a great appellate issue, you're hammering out in real time. You're making a motion. You're handling a motion out of the presence of the jury. You're getting an opportunity to shoot your best shot. Take your shot right now, because we know appeals are not. And then there's the standard where even if something may have been done wrong, did it rise to the level to overturn a unanimous jury verdict? So you have not just one step. You have to have someone say, yeah, it was wrong, and it rose to the level of reversing a jury verdict, which is the most. Now that is a really big thing to reverse a jury verdict, and so they would have shot those shots during real time during the trial.
Oh, I see. Okay, let's go to Molly Bell calling us from the city of Compton. Molly Bell, you are on with attorney Carrie Harper. Welcome, Queen.
Welcome. Reparations in memory of our ancestors. God bless morning, attorney Carrie Harper, and to all of the and to all of the KBLA listeners. This has been some kind of a week, but I just called and I'll listen to your comments off the air. Attorney Carrie Harper, nobody, it seems to be, and I'm just saying, and I flip TV because I'm housebound, not because I'm in jail or nothing, but I have that, and I have but I get to see a lot. But aren't we proud of Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg? I mean, this brother put all this together. He could have done this himself, but he chose to put someone else out there.
Oh, we are definitely. Oh, I didn't know you were waiting for me. Yeah, we are definitely proud of him, Miss Molly Bell. I even think Stevie should add another verse to a song. You know, the one that says, "And to die for the flag we now hold high was a black man." We should do something for that black man back there in New York for doing this.
Wow, that was so awesome. And like I said, I'm so proud. But I guess. And I know we got some white listeners and some other folks that trolled Dominique. And Dominique, I have to say I appreciate you've been not nice to those trollers.
I do what I can.
I don't know if I would have been that nice. I would have said, I don't call your station, don't you call ours. But, I don't know how that works. But anyway, I just want to say that we did a good job. I'm so proud. And if Carl Douglas was still there, we get to say, if it doesn't not fit, then we cannot, and we will not acquit. It was a great day, and all of everything that we're doing. All you prayer warriors out there, you know what you've got to do. You've got to keep fasting. You've got to keep praying, because the struggle continues, but always, and I mean always, to God be the glory. Thank you, Dominique.
Thank you, Molly Bell. Anything else you want to unpack from what Molly Bell laid out, Attorney Carrie Harper?
I think she was on it. You gotta love it. That's right. I'm just smiling. Can you hear the smile coming through?
I do, now? Yeah. It's great to hear you so happy. Actually, the team here has been saying that I've been smiling all morning. I think we do have to celebrate our victories, large or small.
We have to celebrate. And there's some buzzkills that'll say, oh, well, what's the big deal? It won't change the hardcore MAGA line people. Oh, he's not going to jail. No, he's not going to jail. And those deep entrenched MAGA people are still going to vote. But what about the people who are on the fence with the fence pole up? What about those folks? We have to think that it moves the dial with some people who just will not vote for a convicted felon, and he's going to drag this out to November. So still on the ballot, he will still be a convicted felon.
And and the Republican Party, the convention hasn't happened yet. They could go another direction, but they won't.
Yeah. Hope springs eternal. Did you think he was going to get convicted, Dominique?
I was thinking maybe he would get 1 or 2 counts, and they'd kind of give him a slap on the wrist, like you say, split the baby. I did not ever think 34, unanimous, all counts. Didn't see that coming.
And I was watching CNN in real time. This guy was reading it out. So before the prompter could update with how many, he kept going. And I said, they're letting him go 34 times. He kept saying, okay, now he's been convicted of 23.
And counting.
It was good. And counting. It was good.
We're talking with Attorney Carrie Harper. So many questions and some folks on the phone, so we'll get to all that when we come forward. Yep, 34 for 45. That's what we're talking about this morning on KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
When you get nachos, tacos, empanadas, spicy queso with jalapenos, Pepto-Bismol's there. Pepto-Bismol provides fast, effective relief from nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, and diarrhea. All the things that can happen unexpectedly on vacation. So before you travel, pack the Pepto. Pepto-Bismol.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
I'm going out with the girls this weekend. Nails done, outfit stunner, and my skin, I know it's going to be glowing because I glammed up my shower routine with new Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash. It smells so luxurious and moisturizes deep into my skin with its super rich, creamy lather that's bursting with vitamin B3. So my skin glows and my confidence grows. Try new Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash for glowing skin in just 14 days.
At Lowe's, save big every day when you buy in bulk. Save 10% when you buy 68 or more OSB sheathing. Plus, get an extra 5% off every day on eligible purchases when you use your Lowe's business credit card. Visit us in-store or online for low prices on the materials you need. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details. 5% offer subject to credit approval. Exclusions and terms apply. See store at lowes.com/credit for details.
KBLA Talk 1580 is the fastest growing talk radio station in Southern California. Home to 50,000 watts and an audience reach of 12 million listeners. KBLA Talk 1580 is a pioneer for Black audio content, including our groundbreaking $2 million climate justice campaign and the most loyal, influential audience. According to an independent research study by the polling firm Aviterus, for the second consecutive year, KBLA Talk 1580 is the most trustworthy, reliable, and credible news source for Black audiences and beyond in Southern California. Let KBLA Talk 1580 power your advertising dollars. Our omni-channel custom marketing solutions are specifically tailored to connect with your ideal target audience. We leverage audio, podcasts, streaming, digital, social media, and local activations to get your message out to the Black community. Get in touch with our advertising team today at advertising@kbla1580.com. That's advertising at kbla1580.com. KBLA 1580. We've got your Black. Thanks for waking up with Dominique Diprima on KBLA Talk 1580.
And we're talking with Attorney Carrie Harper, unpacking some of these issues around the guilty times 34 ruling that we saw yesterday, verdict that we saw yesterday coming out of New York against the 45th president. And I just want to quickly say that we've been lighting up the internet with some clips, something from Tariq Nasheed, Jaguar Wright, and Sabir Bey. So we are going to, some folks have been complaining that the Sabir Bey quote was taken out of context. So we're going to let you hear that a little bit more in depth in the second half of the hour for in the Spirit of Freedman Fridays. I am heading to finally lay my mama to rest, so got to catch a plane, but I'm leaving you with that, and let's argue about it on social media. I'll see you on Instagram. I'll see you on X. It is KBLA 1580, and of course mine is Diprima Radio. So quickly, let's go to JW calling us from LA. Hi, JW.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Good. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I'm just glad to go behind my bell because we definitely have to give God the glory, and I'm glad to hear our brother speak about reparations and inclusion because that's the main point. That's what we need to do. Unite together as one whole, complete body, and human rights is the most important way to look at that, or frame it or put it in that type of perspective.
Well said, well said. Okay, JW, well, call me next Friday. Let's talk more about reparations like we do every single Friday. Right now, I got Kerry Harper for a limited amount of time, and I'm just trying to make sure we understand what just happened with our 45th president being a felon. You and I were talking offline about how being a felon changes everything, even if you're a former president in some ways, right?
Well, yeah, and, he is a billionaire. He's different than the average Joe. He's a million or billionaire Caucasian 70 or 80-year-old, so he has more things behind him than in front of him. But felony, we talked about the traveling, Dominique. Some countries require that you not have any felony convictions.
A lot of countries.
A lot of federal jobs, a lot of jobs, period. I mean, you're going to have to go in and get your I do believe they're going to have to process them. If they haven't processed them, you have your prints rolled, your photo submitted. You'll be on a database with the Department of Justice under a felony, with a felony hit on that database. So it's just...
He can't rent an apartment in L.A. Good thing he has Mar-a-Lago.
Right. There you go. But the way you said that is the first time I have heard it said, and you said it so conversationally, is the 45th president of the United States is now a convicted felon. And, I mean, who? It just makes me laugh. That is just crazy. I can't believe it. It's crazy.
Well, you know what? You said to me one of the reasons, and Attorney Carl Douglas was also saying this, one of the reasons he probably won't get time is a Class E felony. It's a low-level felony. And you said he has no priors. And I'm like, how does he have no priors? He got found liable for rape. He got found liable for corruption and fraud and is subject to hundreds of millions in fines, but still no priors?
No priors, because those are civil cases. And I don't know the wording, right, and I don't know the wording that they actually use for being found liable for sexual battery. I don't know if they actually found him liable for quote-unquote rape, but everybody knows what that meant, but there may have been a technical issue with that.
Right, there was, because of the way they define rape in New York. It has to be your actual penis. It can't be digital penetration. So, yeah, that's why they didn't say rape.
So he has a whole host of wrongdoings, but he just hasn't been caught yet. Doesn't that, who's the other big gangster that we can think of right off the bat? Al Capone. He's murdered more people than smallpox, and he never got caught he got caught for tax evasion. It's these sleeper little bookwormy paperwork cases that creep up and bite the biggest folks in the butt because they're so busy covering up the big felonies that they do. This sleeper, legal memo. He didn't know that was going to have a resounding ripple for 34 times. He never thought that, and it did. That's why I think it's funny, because all the stuff that he's gotten away with that's been bigger than this.
Yeah, emoluments, ripping off all those people at Trump University, grabbing, more than a dozen women in various ways. He has gotten away with, and that's why I really wasn't expecting a sweep here, 34 felonies. But it's like you say, it's unlikely that he will do time.
He doesn't need to do time. He doesn't need to be jailed because this conviction is going to be living rent-free in his head because this is big to him. They described him. You heard how they described how he looked when he came out, that he was just, very, very, very red and incensed, and he needed time so he can come to a press conference. By the way, he's right now
doing one now, yeah.
He's doing a press. But this is a personal failure to him. A big, big failure. There's no way to sugarcoat it. He could say whatever he wants. Please believe that he'd much rather go somewhere for a weekend than have everybody know that he's a convicted felon.
Yeah, well, you know what? I was thinking he might not be getting a sentence from that judge of jail time, but I bet you Melania handing down a sentence right now.
Oh, boy, yeah. Can you believe? And she didn't show up for none of that. She wasn't trying to play the good wife, I'm going to stand next to my man thing. You couldn't find her anywhere.
What do you think? If you're Alvin Bragg right now, and everybody's been saying that your case was so weak and it's the weakest case, and why did he even bring this, and why didn't he bring it? And now it looks like your case is the only one that will be able to move forward before the election. What are you feeling? What are you thinking right now?
Well, he should have had publicity people long ago and that are guiding him, because if he comes out with a win on this, it will have a big effect for if he has any other later aspirations. But right now, I would think he would do one big interview, maybe a big 20 or 60 minutes or a big Oprah, one big one that everybody sees, and then be quiet and don't gloat and don't have people, because there are a lot of folks that are really entrenched in Trump. Just do your thing, and that strength, that silent strength after speaking once, that says volumes. Everybody knows he won. He doesn't have to stand up and pound his chest. He won. Maybe Stevie will add another. Maybe Stevie will add another verse on that song. What's the name of it? I can't think of it, but I know the words.
A Black Man. But you know what? I think it's called Black Man. But you know what I think? I love that it's black people that are holding this criminal accountable. Morris Phillips says, I disagree. The defendant is looking at 140 years and 300 days. He's got to do some time, but probably won't, right?
No, it's a nonviolent felony. He's not going to do time. He's not a black man in Pomona or Torrance, so no, he's not going to do time on a nonviolent felony.
Paulie says there's word that the D.C. docs case is still possible before the November election. I'd love to see it. You don't think so?
Well, you can drag things out. I mean, there are so many ways to drag things out in a big case, a high-profile case, and it's criminal, and you have multiple law firms and multiple different moving parts. Yeah, they're not, in my opinion.
And judges that are giving this guy every possible break, not to mention the Supreme Court dragging their feet on deciding whether he has immunity. But you and I talked about this yesterday, that even if he gets immunity from the Supreme Court, it doesn't count for this case because he wasn't president yet.
Right. So these allegations were while he was running with Stormy Daniels, and these are state of New York allegations. So the federal government, this case didn't work itself up through the federal government. They're minding the federal cases, and they can do something with that, and he can be pardoned for that. But to overturn a jury verdict on a paper case, that would, this is it. This is it for this case. So I don't think the immunity thing, I don't think they're going to come back and give him immunity. That would be a little too much.
They didn't think they were going to overturn Roe v. Wade, and they did. But I hope you're right. Attorney Carrie Harper, thank you so much for stepping into the gap here and helping us to understand and celebrate.
You are welcome. Yes, celebrate. Just because he won't get jail time, this is a moment for celebration. He was actually held accountable. Do you know how hard that? I guess, folks, when we see travesties every single day where people aren't held accountable, something like this means more because we work around it so much. But this is reason for everyone to celebrate this. Attorney
Harper, thanks so much. News, traffic, and sports, then more reparations on KBLA. Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique Diprima when we come forward.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Mike Moore. Now here's the latest from the Black Information Network. The Manhattan District Attorney who brought the hush money case against Donald Trump says he did his job and followed the law. After Trump was found guilty, African-American Democrats